The airport was packed, as it always was on a weekday morning. Travelers rushing to catch flights, families waving goodbye, and the constant hum of announcements echoing through the terminal. But at gate 42B, time seemed to slow. A Marine stood beside a flag-draped casket, his hand resting gently on the smooth wooden surface. His posture was rigid, his eyes forward, unwavering. This wasn't just a mission, it was a promise. Inside that casket lay Corporal Jake Morrison, a young man who had given everything for his country, and the Marine beside him, sworn to honor his final journey home, would not let protocol strip away the dignity he deserved. Then came the voice, a sharp interruption from the airport manager. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to step away from the flag." The words landed like a slap. The Marine didn't flinch. The manager repeated himself, louder this time, gesturing toward security. "We have protocols. You're delaying operations?" The crowd around them shifted uneasily. Some passengers paused mid-step, phones already recording. Others looked away, unsure how to react. The Marine finally turned his head, locking eyes with the man. "With all due respect, sir," he said, calm and measured, "this isn't cargo. This is a Marine." He looked back down at the casket, his gloved fingers still resting on the fabric of the American flag. There were no wrinkles, no folds out of place. Beneath it lay a hero, silenced too soon. The airport manager hesitated, clearly unprepared for the weight of what he was witnessing. Around them, people began to whisper. Something was changing. Then came the moment no one expected. A little girl, no older than 6, stepped forward, tugging on her mother's sleeve. "Why are they making him leave?" she asked, loud enough for others to hear. Silence followed. One by one, travelers lowered their phones. Some removed their hats. Others placed hands over hearts. The manager's face twisted in confusion, then realization. He glanced at the casket again, really seeing it this time. The weight of his own words, his own actions, suddenly felt unbearable. He opened his mouth, then closed it. No command came. No order to remove the Marine. Instead, he stepped aside. And behind him, the TSA agent did the same. The Marine didn't celebrate. He simply held his position, watching as the truth settled into every person standing there. Minutes passed, or maybe only seconds. It was hard to tell. Then slowly, the family arrived. Jake's mother saw the casket and collapsed into tears. Her husband saluted, trembling so hard his hand shook. Their daughter dropped to her knees, whispering, "Welcome home, Jake." The Marine remained silent, honoring the moment the way it deserved. Then, and only then, did he release the casket, carefully folding the flag into a perfect triangle. He knelt before Jake's mother and placed it in her hands. "He didn't die alone," he said softly. "He was loved. He was honored." As he stood, the silence broke, not with applause, but with understanding. Travelers who moments ago had been distracted now stood still. Phones weren't recording anymore. They were held low, in reverence. Even the airport manager, shaken and red-eyed, stepped forward. I didn't understand," he whispered. "I'm sorry." The Marine gave a single nod. "Now you do." That moment spread faster than anyone could have predicted. By nightfall, footage of the Marine standing firm beside Corporal Morrison's casket had gone viral. Not because it was dramatic or controversial, but because it was real. People shared it not for views, but for remembrance. Across social media, strangers wrote messages. "This is why we serve. Never forget. Thank you for protecting us." Families of fallen soldiers commented with photos of their own heroes, remembering those who never came home. News outlets picked up the story, not as a scandal, but as a tribute. That quiet confrontation at Gate 42B had become something bigger than any of them. It reminded a nation of its duty, not just to protect freedom, but to remember those who paid the ultimate price for it. And as the Marine watched the video ripple across the internet from a quiet hotel room, he allowed himself one deep breath. His mission wasn't over, but today he had done more than escort a body. He had restored honor to a name. What started as a simple act of defiance became a national moment of reflection. In schools, teachers showed the video to students, sparking conversations about service and sacrifice. Veterans posted heartfelt messages, thanking the Marine for representing the values they once swore to uphold. Families of fallen soldiers reached out, sharing stories of their loved ones. Stories that might have stayed buried if not for that one powerful stand. The airport manager, whose name was later revealed as David Holloway, issued a public apology, vowing to implement new policies ensuring future escorts would be treated with the dignity they deserved. Airlines updated their training programs. Lawmakers cited the event during speeches on the floor of Congress. And most importantly, people remembered. They remembered Jake Morrison. They remembered the cost of freedom. And they remembered the Marine who refused to let that cost be forgotten. Because sometimes one person's courage is all it takes to remind an entire nation of its soul. If this story moved you, if it made you pause, reflect, or feel something real, then take a moment to share it. Drop a comment below with the names of those you've lost, those you honor, or those who continue to serve. If you believe stories like this deserve to be told, to be remembered, and to spark meaningful conversation, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this with someone who needs to be reminded of what truly matters. Because the truth is, we may live in a world full of noise, but some moments cut through it all. Moments that remind us of who we are and who we should never forget.